Hey, this is Roger from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, and the next couple of days I'll be playing with the 57 oval window. So let me get a box out and show you what we'll be doing in the next 3, 4, 5 days. So here we go. I just pulled this from a undisclosed location, not the box but the car, so I don't keep everything down here. But look, the goal is right now, these are the boots for the, I guess like they call them CV joints. Picked this up at the Veterama, which is like a German flea market like Daytona Beach, but geared more towards motorcycles and like European type cars for spare parts. I picked this up too, but it doesn't go for this one right here, but I'm just gonna see what it sounds like. And very important, these right here. You can see right here, I already put the original ones back on over here. This is obviously not the one because the color doesn't quite match on it. But what they did over here in the 70s, I would imagine, is they put the aftermarket ones on from like a 70 or a 75 that actually had the turn signals integrated. And I'm going back to the way this thing was originally. So I'm actually retrofitting it back to the way it was, if you understand what I'm saying right here. This fender right here is the original fender. If you look right down here, this little slot right down here is a little bit lower. Let me get up over here and show you this other side real quick. This is obviously not the original fender, but I tell you what, the other one was so tore up and rusted up in here. This is the only piece of sheet metal that I replaced on it, or body panel that I did, if you call that a fender, if you want to call that a body panel. I got my little welding done up here. I had a little bit of rust down here in this corner. Of course, once you start digging into it, get more and more and more and more. So anyway, I plan on fixing this up today. I got this down here. I'm gonna put my running board back on it. Again, this is not a professional restoration. I just want to get this thing, maybe throw a bit of paint on it, maybe keep the patina as it is. But anyway, back in the day, you can see this is a big giant rear turn signal light assembly that they had on here. And I'm going to reconvert this back to the way it was using that old school light assembly right here. And then my semaphores, which I know now is what you call them, semaphores, those are little things right here that once you hit the turn signal, they pop out. I'm not going to take it out the bag right now, but they sit right here like this. And then once you turn the turn signal on, they pop out like that. And Bob's your uncle, and it lights up. I heard there's a company also that makes them so they actually blink right now. So this is my pad to go to the bottom. This is the other boot assembly, so I'll keep that in mind too. And then, I don't know, put in the comments what you think about this. I've got one, if not two of these, and these are actually original ones. They're not repops. And what I want to do is, some people don't like these things. They say they're dirt traps and rust collectors, but I kind of like it. I think I'm going to put these back on here the way they were. And there's also some from the front. And I don't know exactly everything that I collected because I'm like a squirrel that buried a nut. I can't remember crap anymore, and I'm only 59. I can remember a whole lot of stuff. I think these are for the front. But anyway, I got myself a little collection of stuff in here. That's a mirror, obviously rear view mirror. And then here are some of the hold your bumper in place mechanisms. Anyway, that's it for that. This is the California style right here, so I picked up a couple of those. And that's basically it. So another thing I want to try to do is, if I reach in here, where's my, here they are right here. I got all these little, you know, those are the original plastic, you know, I guess they're little knobs that go for everything on the inside. But I went to a company called Retro Sound, and I know it's not original, but I bought me one of these little kits right here. I use them basically on everything. And I want to use this kit right here to replace the hack job that somebody did up here. That wasn't me, but what I want to do is, I got those covers, those radio covers, the old school looking ones, even if they're dented up a little bit, to cover up the big giant hole up in here, because I like that original patina dashboard that's on here. So this is the original one, and those are those same type of mechanisms right here, those little knobs. I want to try to replicate those in the center for the radio. So the radio will look old school. It's in this box right now, not going to pack it up. And if you notice, check this out. I got all of the trim that goes on the outside. And here are the original hubcaps, but they're kind of worn out, if you know what I mean. But Doesn't mean I'm not going to put them on there, but I might find some bling bling. Hey, another thing I want to show you. When I was doing my welding, obviously I took my panel off right here. This panel right here is the original panel. It cleaned up pretty nice. I use this product called 409. I don't get paid by 409, but man, 409 is a great product. Lay it down, let it soak in for 3-4 hours, and then just scrub that stuff on. You can't get it wet, otherwise you warp the hell out of them. Now look, there's a clean one, and I promise you, this is not making it up. That's what that panel looked like before I cleaned it. So before and after. Before and after. So I plan on just cleaning this thing up a little bit right down here and getting it one step closer to what they call a German TUV inspection. And also, if you guys are attention to detail oriented folks, when I did the steering on here and I cleaned that up, I put the damn wheel on the wrong way. I think the wheel's supposed to be the other way around, but that's not a big deal. I just got to unhook it from the front, turn it 180 degrees, and pop it back on here. And that's basically it. So again, this panel, I'll take this one off. I'll carefully re-glue all this stuff around this little panel in the back right here, and then put it back on here. So there's a couple things that I want to knock out. And here's where those semaphores fit in. Look, the wires are actually even still here for that one right here. So it should be an easy fix. I don't know if the wires are still there or not, but that's what the plan is going to be. Yep, only got 2 lugs in this one right here. So these are painted. You saw that in the last video from, I think it was this summer. Got myself some new tires on here. I got some really cool trim rings that go on here. See if I can find them in a hurry. I didn't plan on showing you that, but wo are the trim rings? I might not be able to find them in a hurry right now, but they're here someplace. Just a second. Oh, there they are, way over there in the corner. So check this out. This guy gave me some carburetor parts, and these are original trim rings, and they're in doggone good shape. So I think I'm gonna put these trim rings back on the Bug. And look, he gave me 1, 2, 3, 4. There's even 5 of them, one for the spare tire. Anyway, I know I'm all over the place right now, but excited to do this. I've got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to play with this. I've got to do some knocking out on this one here. This one gets new shoes on the back. This is a 1959 EVL Berliner, and we love the hell out of this thing. We drive this everywhere. It's 150 cc, about 11 horsepower, but this one needs a new battery, and it needs new brake shoes. And then you've seen the John Deere video here. I got this one basically completed right now. Let me show you this again. Tension deficit order. Turn the key on, turn the lights on. Is that not killer right there? So I got that all cleaned up. Even made myself the little panel right here, which I've been wanting to do that for a long time. And I'm gonna cut off the fuel pump again. Not gonna crank that up right now. And yeah, I passed the 914 with the LS3 2 or 3 times already. And I promise to get back on this project right now. The next thing that's holding me up, I gotta glue this windshield, and then I'm telling you right now, I've been avoiding that like a bad smell. I just hate doing stuff like that as far as windshields. I like doing electrical work, I like doing mechanical work, I like welding, but old girl here deserves a little bit of attention right now. So let me get to that just a little bit later on, maybe even this calendar year, because we got October of 2024 right now. So anyway, that's the plan on here. And one more thing I'll show you here before I stop yapping is I got a mean oil leak right here. So I got to figure out where that's coming from. And then basically I think it's where it's at right there. And I loved Amazon.de or Amazon.com if you're in the United States of America. This right here was like $16, $17. So it might be the oil cover seals. I'm not quite sure. This is the actual oil filter in that car. So I've got this guard here, and then I've got the upper and the lower gaskets which go around this thing right here, and all the little nuts and bolts and washers that go on here. So I'll be knocking this out right now. Hopefully I can fix that oil leak down here, which I think I can. And one other thing, I might have to replace the clutch on old girl here, simply because when I take off, it's got this little shaking thing going on right now, and I think that might just be the clutch grabbing the pressure plate. And I don't know, I'm just gonna drive it for a while and see if I can get rid of that. If not, you know, pulling the clutch out of one of these things or pulling the engine out is literally 4 bolts and a couple of wires and a throttle cable, choke, and a couple of other things. and this thing is out on the streets, and I've changed clutches and these things before. So anyway, hey, let me stop yapping right now and get busy right here, okay? All right, let's get started with a simple little thing, just an oil change, and I'll go ahead and flip out the gaskets while I'm in here, the valve cover gaskets. So that should be a 10 millimeter. Give me one of these right here. Ah, damn it, I can see the 10 millimeters are on vacation right now, and they're on vacation too. 3/8 is gone. So the 3/8 is his American cousin right here. So if you're short of a 10 millimeter, you can do a 3/8, should be the same thing. So let me grab these right down here and lay underneath this thing and see if I can get this knocked out real quick. There it is right there. Let it roll on out a little bit. And I think this is one of the sources of the leak right here. I'm not quite sure. Let most of that crap pour out of there. There we go. And then you see all those other bolts right down here? I think these are 13s, or no, these are 15s. I'm gonna put a little honk on every single one of those, and then not replace anything here because that's bone dry over there, and just see if I can get a little oil leak stopped up in here. That's my goal. There's some first world problems here. The ice cube is too big, so we just have to mix the drink a little bit. Here we go. All right, Billy Bob Joe here. So I got the old flat edge right here, and look at this dent right up in here. See this dent? You can actually even hear the dent. So I'm gonna try real hard, lay this up here flat. Never mind all this shit dropping out of here. Moving over to these, I picked these up in Moultrie, Georgia. These are actually Offenhausers. These are for flathead Ford motors, but as you can see right now, that's stuck right down here. So that's an old spark plug housing with everything else busted off it. But the way to solve that problem is a little bit of heat. Heat and Jack Daniels. Hold on just a second. It'll work. There you go, that's what we were talking about. Right here, we're gonna hit this one here too. Heat and a little bit of penetrating oil will solve all these problems. Dude, man, the hair on my arm is starting to burn, man. Thanks for that, John. It's the next morning here. I had to run a couple of errands this morning. So, picked up these from the Kafer clinic. And this right here actually is the right size or smaller diameter to fit the oil sump here. So I have to put the oil back in. And basically I went to the Kafer clinic, which again is over that hill right there. And he actually had the right part in here. So I'm gonna put the oil strainer back in. This is actually a piece that I have to weld in the back because mine's completely rotted out. And this is the rear where the rear bumper actually attaches through the fender. So that piece, I got these used right here. Who cares? I think he even gave these to me, so I'm gonna pop those on it because mine are all rusted out. And here's my most important score this morning. Let me go ahead and bring this inside. kind of heavy. So this is from a 956 Porsche from the same year, because back then the smaller diameter generator actually fit into the one that I have right here, because I've already converted this over to 12 volts. Don't be a hater. See, I've got the smaller one here. So I'm going to see if I can actually mount that thing up here. If not, it'll go right over here. And I just have to basically take this out and pop the other one in. It should be fairly simple to do that. And then hook this positive wire right here to the one positive on this regulator right here. And then Bob, with your uncle, Even look, even got a schematic on here. And then it goes to this field right here, and that'll charge the battery automatically. It's not an alternator, it's a generator, so it's got a voltage regulator runs with it. But I just got that from Michael or Beefy at the Kafer clinic, so had to pay a little bit of money for that one. It's kind of pricey. Don't worry about this. This is from a buddy of mine, John, and got a TIG weld that right up in here. But Roland's going to do that because my TIG welding skills are okay, but they're not like Roland's. And then we started on this project last night. You probably saw a little fire show. I'm going to take a wire wheel like I was doing yesterday and just clean the rest of this out up in here. That works pretty damn good. Look at that. Look at that. I love that look right here. So this look right here, and I'm going to eventually put this these flathead covers back onto the flathead 8BA motor I got in the back. I just got to get that loose right here. That's an old spark plug busted out in here. And I got one over here, but I have this thing with heat and penetrating oil, just trying to get it to loosen up a little bit. Anyway, let me stop yapping and get busy over here. Good morning. Hey, so if you're thinking this is not 1957 oval window bug, now you understand what I'm saying, attention deficit disorder. So look, I pulled these out last night when John was here. We were playing around a little bit with a little bit of fire and heat. So these things are still stuck in here right here. I got 2 of them out this morning. So this is why this at the Moultrie swap meet about 1.5 years ago only cost me, I think it was $150 for both of these right here. But these are actually super old school. I got the number, what is that, 0503000350 actually on here. So I think these are actually old Offenhauser covers for the old flathead 8BA motors. But check this out, I got them broken out. This nice and neat, screws up in here, really nice and simple. Pull these back out of here. And then just make sure, tip number 552 from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, you got to use anti-seize, especially when you're going with these aluminum heads or aluminum covers or caps, whatever. Yeah, I guess they're aluminum valve heads or aluminum fin heads for this flathead motor. Make sure you use the anti-seize, otherwise you're not going to have a good day. And then, oh so satisfying, check this out. So let me pick a dirt area, like right here. Check this out. All right, you guys do what you want to do, but see this edge right here? This is actually what goes on the bottom, so make sure there's no burrs on there. Clean it. I just take this and give it a little, cleans it up a little really good too. There we go, that's all I'm trying to do right here. Same thing on this aluminum piece right here. Clean that up. Yeah, look at that. Just clean all that crap off of there. Just put a little rough on here right now. I run just a little bit of Permatex up in here. Little RTV. Not much, just a little bit between the gaskets, and we're good to go. And I just make sure I get all this old gasket material off of here. All right, just gonna go with a simple GTX 2050 here. Thicken it up a little bit. That's not gonna stop it from leaking though, but what that'll stop is any kind of clickety clack clack clack, because just it's a thicker viscosity oil, so it cushions a little bit better. All right, got a little bit of oil in this thing now. We're 2 quarts. Crank this thing up and see if I got a little. I'm gonna let it run for like a couple minutes and see if this thing actually stopped dripping now. Tell you what, if that thing stood that long and I got it cranked up after, I don't know, 30, 40 years, it ain't smoking a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and replace these now. Got these right here. This is just pure aesthetics right now. Close that off. I've got the heater on these right now because there's not enough sun out right. I'm just going to get this nice and pliable and then try to pull this around this edge right here. That's the goal right now. Yeah, this thing's already getting nice and soft on me here. That's good. Voila, there it is. All right, so I can almost guarantee you this is the first time this door panel has been off since 1957. So these little springs, lay these down here with the rest of my little collection. Same thing with this one right here. That's for the front. And then look at this. This thing is solid. That little bolt is loose right here, that little screw, so maybe that's why it was rattling a little bit. But check this out, no rust up in here whatsoever. So this is pretty cool. So that's the original color, and look at all this original stuff up in here. So let me take this crank and see how this window comes down. This one doesn't make any noise when it's going up and down, and that's because this piece right here is actually not all rusted and rotted out. So I just got to find this piece here. I probably got that from the Kafer clinic, and then see if this one's, yeah, that one's actually, I don't have to do anything with that one. The only thing I'll do is I'm going to hit Dynamat behind here, and then look at that sucker. Grease it up a little bit. Okay, so let's see, I'll roll the window up, take this off. There's those little bitty roll pins right there. So I'll get a little bag and I'll put all the stuff in here and label it passenger side. Good to go. All right. All right, let me dial myself up 12 volts here. 12.1 is fine. Put the camera down here and check out the semaphores I picked up at the Veterama. This should be ground down here. I don't think it makes a difference. Put it right there. And then this is where the plus goes in once you engage the turn signal, and it should go up and make a little click sound. Yep. So that's cool. So now, hold on, I gotta hold this thing up, clip this back on here, close this out, cut this off, and while I got my finger holding this thing up, I'm gonna come right over here. And that wire right there actually has to go in to ground the thing, and then that screw down here screws in the bottom hole down there. And I'll go ahead and knock these out and put them in real quick. But before I do that, I'm going to actually polish that outside with a little bit of mothers just to make it look a little cleaner. All right, so I just want to show you the floors and this thing. These are the original floors up in here, and there's no rot. So I got pretty good and pretty lucky on this thing. This right here, I guess I'm gonna have to replace the carpet one day. But look, all that crap is solid up beneath here. Let me go ahead and put that back. Okay. This right here, I guess this is like a little dampening cloth, because the seat, I just pulled the seat out. Where'd I put the seat? Seat's right there. And so I just like going through stuff like this. Like, look at this old paper clip was in here. Old button. There's an old button right there. And these are kind of important to keep too, in case you run out, but I bought a whole bunch of them at Veterama, so I'll just put this in my bag of spare stuff just in case I need it. Look at that, I got like a nickel? No. It's a fenning. Look at that, wait a minute. So this is a fenning right here. See the one on it? That is a fenning check. So the GI's over here, not this car belonged to a GI, but this is a fenning, which is like a 1 cent piece back in the day before we went to the euro over here. So that is my lucky fenning. And you have a fenning check, and you're supposed to always keep one of these in your wallet. And the reason you keep it in your wallet, because if you have to go buy, they say fenning check, and if you don't have a fenning, you got to go buy a round of beer. Anyway, there it is right there, fenning check. All right, so this is pretty simple. I'm just spraying this stuff up in here. Let it tack up, and once it tacks up, you can just push this nice over here. Get all this crap on my hand, but I'll get it all with 409 here in just a minute. And again, the goal is to get this all pushed over here. And then once I get it pushed over, fold this over. And then put a clamp on it. There you go. All right, I'm not gonna repeat the process here, but this one is actually a lot easier simply because it's only got a couple of things that are off right here, and a couple pieces on the beginning, so that's easy, all right? All right, so I'm 59, Bug is 57, difference of 8 years, 59 plus 8, 67 years ago. This thing, I don't think it's ever been washed, but anyway, a little bit of 409 on this thing. Let it soak up in here, and then I'll do the same thing, and I got one more to go over there. So this is like the German version of Dynamat. It's about 1/4 of the cost, so I always keep all my scraps up in here, but this is what it looks like. Here's just like another version of it. It's just like Dynamat, and check this out, you can just peel it. It's got glue stuff on the back of it, but what I'm gonna do here is, this is inside the doors right here. This stuff right here was literally put in here for sound deadening dampenings, but I'm gonna scratch this crap out of here. Same thing with that one right there. All right, hey look, I got this door pretty well cleaned up. I hit it with the paint thinner right here. Got all this crap out of here. Got the wax sealer down up in here after I cleaned up. There's actually no rust on these doors, and I've got this thing peeled back, so I'll try to get this thing up in here. And I'll tell you what, if you don't use Dynamat in your doors, I mean, you can choose not to, but man, this stuff is absolutely great. Now I'm gonna try to get this as high as possible. Press it a little bit, see, feel up here where it's at, right about there. And I'm not worried about getting to these ends right here. I'll just cut a piece and glue on here. And I think, yeah, I'm pretty much there right now. Put this right here. I'll go grab my roller. Like I said, you can do this in the middle right here, but you try to do this on the outside, you'll cut the crap out of yourself. Ask me how I know. So, and I told the wife I was gonna be down here just a couple minutes. It's been 45 minutes, so I gotta head upstairs, otherwise I'll have another night in the doghouse. So you can even hear it right now. It just seals everything up really nice. Push all this up in here. Like I said, I'll just cut pieces to the side, the left and right. And you don't want to go all the way to the bottom, because what you don't want here is this stuff holding water on the bottom right here, where some water might eventually run in here. But if you look right down here, I'm not really worried about it. Look, let me get my light up here. Check this out. See that wet stuff down there? That's like a sealer, rust converter sealer, except there's no rust down in here. I just hit it with a wire brush, and this thing is pretty well clean up in here. If you look all up in here, it's nice and clean up in here. So that's cool. You know, I love little stuff like this right here. It literally looks like a piece of carpet, but what that's for is to stop the vibration. So cool little features like that. And again, this is 1957, folks. All right, tell you what, this stuff is such a pleasure to put in. And I tell you what, the sound deadening, and alone when you crank the door shut or slam it shut, it's just a huge difference. All right, so I've got to take this and move this hole down here, this elongated hole. So I've got my little pilot hole drill right here, fabricate this little piece, and that's going to go right there on the bottom side of it, and I'll just weld that in there, and then it'll replicate this hole over here. This is an old Fender, the original one that came with the car, and this one over here was just too rusted out for me to even play with. So again, this is going to go, actually let me just show you how that's going to go right here like that and right there, and then I will elongate that hole down to the bottom right there. I'm going to try this freehand right here. So So I've got this piece down here completed right now, so I'll have a little 1/16 of an inch of Bondo swipe right up in here. So this is the new hole. And then I got this little bitty dent right here, and since I got it off, I might as well go ahead and knock this out. So get the flathead of something heavy, a little bitty small hammer right here that I kind of like modified a little bit, and then lay it on top here. Feel the bump from the back. Alright, hey look, that's what this thing looks like on inside. This is actually the inner fender weld right here. But look, this is the only bad spot I got right here. See these booger welds right here? This was actually me probably about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, just trying to get this rear bumper, which is literally laying over here right now, just to stay on here, not flopping down. So I just kind of like buzzed it a little bit. But the whole thing was, when I tried to take the 13mm bolts out that were right up in here, they literally broke off. So these are, this is a repop piece right here. If you want to read that right there, Stoßstangenaufnahmehalterung. So that's what that is. But the piece actually, look, it fits perfectly right there. And I'm not going to take the whole thing out because there's nothing wrong with this up here. I'm just going to probably cut it right here. And then even right down here, you see where I got a crack, like a little stress fracture? I think I have enough material right there that if I do my welding correctly, I can actually just put a bead right up in here, come around here, and then I'll grind all this crap off in just a couple minutes and then just start my little project. This is the last thing I'm gonna do for tonight, because the fender actually turned out pretty doggone good. I got my lines drawn here, I got my holes drilled, so the fender is ready to go back on right now. Hey, if anybody needs this piece, let me know. Now check this out. You don't have to weld a big giant fat bead down here, but this right here was fairly thin. So what I do is I'll go to the settings over here on my welder, and I'll put it on 1, maybe 2, and then it's almost like welding aluminum foil, especially if it's a little bit rusty stuff like this right here was on the back side of it. And then you progressively go through with a second pass. Now, you don't have to have it to stick on here. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to grind that down, but I can tell you one thing. That thing will never ever come out of here. And I've got a nice little transition, and there it goes right there. So this is your rear bumper passenger side mounting bracket for your bumpers. Look at the patina on this thing. I love these little small lights that I actually had to go find because somebody had put the large safety lights on the back of elbow back there. But anyway, so these right here kind of like clamp in the back right here, if you can see that. And before I put it on here, it's always a good idea to clean all your contacts. So you have, what is it, the Cantor's Brothers, Cantor's Auto Parts, do it once, do it right, or do it right, do it once. So, okay, so obviously that's really, really bright. And I can tell you why it's bright. It's because it's 12 volts and this is a 6-volt bulb. So before I pop it, let me put my clips up here, pull this one out, and go to my handy dandy drawer. Now I think first pull, nope, wrong, second pull. There it is right there. All my bulbs are up in here and back in there. And this is one of Gil's specials right here. So he gave everybody these little containers right here. And yeah, I got some 6-volt stuff in here too. So I'll put that bulb in the 6-volt section. And then I'm looking for a dual filament. That looks like an old school dual filament. Both of them are still, are both of them still good? That looks kind of suspect. Here you go. There's one right there with dual filament in it. So let me spin this thing back around here. What you also want to do is right up in here, get yourself a little flat blade screwdriver and scratch those contacts. Nice and shiny in there now. And what you can also do is just push down, put just a little bit more pressure. You know how neat that is? Check this out. See a little insulation they got here just in case this thing comes out too much, it doesn't short itself out. So it's kind of cool little things. So you have to orientate these up and down, and there it goes right there. And it hooks in right there, see that? Now it should be good to go. Let's put some ground on this thing. Right, there's ground. And let's see if I get a little power here now. Okay, that would be the driving light, the regular old park lights in the rear of the car. And then there is the turn signal or the brake light. Actually, it's not a turn signal, it's the brake light. This thing technically didn't have it, but I think I'm going to wire it so it actually blinks a little bit. Anyway, so that works. That's all it's supposed to do right there. And you can't screw it up and put it in backwards because the orientation, if you try to take it out and put it in this way, it won't work. It won't go down far enough, so you just have to spin it in this way, pop it in. See how that works? Anyway, hey look, I'm gonna stop yapping right now, close this video off, but before I do that, recap. Got those panels done. I didn't get a chance to heat them up again and get these little bitty riffles out of here. I like the old patina. I thought about cutting a hole right here and putting a nice Mac audio speaker with maybe even a tweeter, but I don't think I want to do that in the front. What I will do is I'll probably put them in the back right underneath here. So let me show you what else I did today. If you notice these doors, they're kind of heavier right now. I'd say it probably added about maybe 8 ounces to 10 ounces of weight to it. And this is this Dynamat stuff. Now, I'm not being messy right here, but I had a couple of strips left over, so I put this in here. I recommend this for anybody doing a car, especially a restoration project. Put this in any old clunker you got, and it just makes the car sound that much better inside. It's like a sound deadening. I did the same thing on the other side. You can see I got a couple of strips left over right there. And obviously, same thing in the back right here. And there's my little collection of stuff. There's that retro radio I was telling you about right there. There's the accessory box. But it's called Retro Sound. I think that's where they're at. That is one of those Midwest states out there. And same thing on here. So if you notice, if you're sitting right here, the speaker would be right here. So I'm just looking to get my left and right. So I got 4-channel radio that's going to go right here. And then I'm probably going to put 2 speakers right here, one over here and one over here. And in case I haven't showed you this, where is my little bag of, where is that? Here they are right here. So I'll tell you the one that I probably will use is this one right here. And the reason I like that is because, check this out, doesn't that look cool? And the Retro Classic fits right inside this little tray right here, and I can obviously do some kind of mock-up. Only thing, I got that little booger on the corner, which some people would say actually adds still a little bit of patina. But let me take this away. See, here's the plan. Somebody had sliced this thing completely up. See the big giant hole in there? But what I'd like to do is to put that right there in the middle, or maybe even flip it around and have that booger up on the top edge right there. And then the retro knobs will look exactly the same. So anyway, that's my plan right now. So I don't know, I just don't think it's a good idea to put the speakers right here is where they would literally go. That means I got to cut a hole in the speakers, and those original door panels are just too good to do that. The driver's side, yeah, see, if I do that, then the speaker would have to be up here so I don't hit this pocket right here. This is the driver's side. And then this right here is the front. Yeah, I'd have to have the same thing up here. I mean, I would paint the covers exactly this kind of like a beige color right in here. I don't know, leave a comment if you got your opinion on that, but I haven't done it yet, and I'm a little bit older in my age right now, so I think about my decisions, because once you cut those panels, that's it. You can't say those are the original panels and they're unmolested. And look, I'm gonna stop yapping right now, so thanks for joining. It's a Saturday, I think it's about the 12th of October, 2024, so really appreciate it. I got this knocked out right here, got my little orientation on it. I got all my new stuff drilled in here. I hit a little bit of Bondo on that tomorrow, maybe, just a little bit. I gotta actually take that one down a little right there. Same thing with that one. And then this right here is where I shortened it. And then maybe tomorrow, in the next video, I'll get a couple of these bumpers on. So there are the 2 newer ones out here. This is called a California model right here, not prevalent here in Germany. And then this is one on the back of it right now with the D for Deutschland. And so and then you ask yourself, well, why did you put blue on here? I picked a color that I had laying around that I'm probably not going to use again. So this is going to have undercoating on it anyway once I put the fenders on it and get the thing painted. But the goal right now is to get this thing running. And let me check one more time. Still no leaks. This thing is absolutely bone dry right now. And never mind my little booger welding right here. This is just temporary until I can go get the actual real exhaust system for this thing to keep it quiet. Anyway, from Roger's Hot Rod Garage, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. And I'm getting ready to head upstairs right now, watch a little TV, and order some parts off of eBay. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, check this out. A little bonus material here for you. Look in the back of this thing. Got it all hooked up. That would be your regular park light, driving lights. And then here is your brake light. Cool. All right, again, hey, thanks for watching again. Appreciate it.